Last season, Ferris State was the national champion in men's Division II college basketball action. Andy Bronkema would like to get his team back to the promised land again this year, but he'll have to do so with a largely changed lineup as they get set to square off and begin calendar year 2019 tonight against rival Grand Valley. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Fieldhouse Arena here in Allendale, Michigan. I'm Tom Cleary with former Lakers standout Courtney James for what should be a terrific basketball game. Courtney, it's a much different team that Ferris has. They lost 5 very important players, and then the National Player of the Year, Zach Hankins, was a graduate transfer who has moved on to Xavier of Ohio, but Andy Bronkema still has an outstanding leader in Deshaun Thrower, a football team star for the squad that went to the national championship game, and he is back to lead the way, returning now for I think his 6th game tonight here against Grand Valley.
Yeah, I'm sure the team welcomed him back with open arms, so much so that they've won their last 5 games. Thrower can really put the ball in the basket. Ferris as a team really can, averaging over 100 points per game their last few outings, so defense I know is going to be a key for the Lakers tonight.
Well, Grand Valley has a returning lineup that has some good veteran talent. The forward Jake Van Tubergen, Hunter Hale's a great perimeter shooter, a Central Michigan transfer, and Grand Valley needs to incorporate some new guys into their lineup. And you talked to Rick Wesley before the game. I know he's talked about the need for his team to be more physical this year, and he says they have been more physical.
For sure. I mean, defense was the first thing he ended up mentioning to me when I had a quick chance to talk to him. So really guarding the 3 and trying to find some times they can get back in transition and really set their defense and put up a sound performance today against the Bulldogs who've been scoring the ball.
They have been scoring the ball tremendously well. This one almost looks like a dead even coin flip kind of game. Grand Valley and Ferris State, the men's game coming up tonight here next on ESPN3.
Grand Valley State University, more than 200 areas of study led by amazing professors. More than 4,000 study abroad programs. More than 350 student groups offering something for everyone. Grand Valley, beautiful campuses, and the best sports in Division II athletics. A mascot named Louie, who's a team player. And a president who's been known to take a selfie or two. Grand Valley is a community of scholars, hard workers, people who like to have fun, and people who know how to serve others.
To be a Laker is to be a leader.
There's a very strong bond between the student body. It's just a very strong sense of community and belonging.
Can you feel the Laker effect? It starts at Grand Valley State University.
All right, we are ready to go here for the second game of our GLIAC doubleheader here tonight on ESPN3. Tom Cleary with you along with Courtney James. It's Grand Valley and Ferris, the national champions of a year ago from Big Rapids against the home side in their blue and white uniforms tonight. Courtney, you've been in a few of these battles. It's going to get a little physical. It's going to get a little hot under the collar, and maybe it's a good reason for Rick Wesley to be foregoing a necktie tonight.
It's either that or we end up watching him probably rip that tie off at some point in the game. So he probably say, you know what, I'll just do it right out the gate.
Pretty interesting here. Jake Van Tubergen not starting tonight. Kindred Williams is in there for Grand Valley, which starts Brock, West, Hale, and Ferguson. And here's Ferris on the first possession. Cole Walker going inside. Nice defending there by Williams. It's a triple try. And who's going to get the first rebound? Ferris had it. Grand Valley flipped it back. I think it's going to be Ferris basketball. Boy, there is not much room out there tonight on that court. You got a bunch of guys who are long and lean and some quick jumpers on the floor tonight, Courtney.
For sure. I mean, you can expect to see, a great amount of athleticism on display here. And I'm just excited to see these two rivals, get after it tonight.
That ball was entered pretty easily. The missed shot, though, by Cole Walker. Guy that will be the focus of Grand Valley, Deshaun Thrower, the 2-sport star. He's out there right now guarding Jeremiah Ferguson for the Lakers. Zach West tried to enter it. That ball went out of bounds, unable to be handled by Williams. Kindred Williams starting for Grand Valley. Isaiah Brock, the transfer from Oakland University, wears number 10. Hunter Hale is 13 in white. Ferguson, number 14. There's a shot by Deshaun Thrower, and how about that action right there? Sent one straight down from three-point territory as Ferris is going to come with pressure. Andy Bronkema. A bad turnover there by Williams. Looked uncomfortable with it the whole time.
He definitely did. I don't know if that's some of the jitters of this big game or what, but these Lakers are going to need to settle in early.
Another quick basket there off the pressure. And it's a 5-0 early lead. And last basket coming from Jalen McFadden, and here's Grand Valley on the move to the basket. That was Ferguson who drew the foul, and he will shoot, I think. Let's see. Now they're going to say a common foul. Ferris bursts out early with 5 in the first 90 seconds. Well, it looks to me like it's in the act, but no real argument from anybody. Grand Valley gets it inside. Zach West controls the mishandle. West forced it up and in.
Tough finish right there by Zach. Usually you end up seeing him on the perimeter knocking down threes, but that was a nice finish with a little bit of contact.
Grand Valley's going to go immediately to Van Tubergen. He'll be checking in shortly. Marquise Mayfield, great defending there, but he chases down the miss. Grand Valley pulls it away though, and this is Ferguson. Junior from Naperville, Illinois. Baseline jumper is way too hard, tipped out by Brock after the miss by Kindred Williams. Deshaun Thrower again, not this time. And Brock chases the rebound. Here's the first touch for Hunter Hale.
Williams looks just a little jittery and uncomfortable out there. I wouldn't be surprised if Van Tubergen is coming to get him right now, and they'll get him back on the bench and settle him down a little bit.
Jake Van Tubergen has missed a couple of starts this year. I thought it was possibly because of health issues as Hale goes to the line to shoot too. But when you see a guy getting ready to be substituted 90 seconds in, you almost wonder, was he late for the team meal or something like that? Is it an infraction that caused him to miss that start tonight? He's going to get in soon, and Andy Bronkema from Ferris has already gone to his bench. He'll get Walker out. One of the guys coming in for Ferris, Michael Peterson. Greg Williams goes out. And who else snuck in there for the Bulldogs? Let's count them up here. Might have been D'Angelo Hughes that got in there. He's got the ball right now. What do we have here? Are we looking for a clock reset there? Yeah, the clock skipped a beat. It went from 30 to 15 in about 2.5 seconds. I'm going to guess the number is 27 seconds left on the shot clock. Now they've definitely reset the shot clock to 30, but there we go, 27.
Yep, you got it, 27 on the dot.
And now we're ready to go. Good spot there by the official. Grand Valley has climbed within a point at 5-4 after the free throws by Hale. Here's Thrower. He's only played a handful of games after the end of the football season. That's a three that goes right there for D'Angelo Hughes. And here's Hale on the breakout. Hooked it up, couldn't get it in, but he will shoot two.
Talking with Coach Wesley before the ladies' game, that was his first comment. He said, we're really going to have to guard the three tonight. So you can see already, Thrower has put one in. You can see as well that Hughes has already made one. So the Lakers are definitely going to have to make sure they contest and also make sure that they stretch out their contest, beyond the three-point arc. I mean, some of these guys are pulling up, a couple steps back.
Hunter Hale now has made 3 at the line to make it an 8-5 ball game. This is a Ferris team that's got players. They were deep last year as a team. They played 10 deep. They lost a handful of good players, including the likes of Drew Cushingberry, who I thought was their best all-around player last year, kind of their quiet leader from the backcourt. Peter Furlick, good swing man, outside shooter, did a little bit of everything. And, of course, Zach Hankins, who took a graduate transfer to go to Xavier of Ohio. And how about that? Rainmaker from D'Angelo Hughes. I thought he had misfired and put it right down. This might be Van Tubergen here. Could be Brock as well on the rebound. I think it's going to be Brock who picks up the foul. And
yeah, Brock's going to have to be careful on some of those ticky-tack ones. I mean, he's getting an early sub now, but I know he's fouled out of 2 games already and has been in foul trouble for a few others. So wants to try to avoid some of those fouls, especially when he's out of the play, a little bit away from the ball.
Justin Greason is in. He's a 6'10 player. He brings a lot of size to the table. Grand Valley is also preparing Shaquan MacArthur to get in. Thrower almost turned it over. That's too easy right there, but it's a wide miss on the jump shot that time from Ferris. That was DeJuan Seal, actually not DeJuan Seal, but it was 23. McFadden who missed, and now Grand Valley's going to draw another foul here.
Nice to see Justin catch the ball and, make an aggressive move through the lane. Got fouled. We'll see if he can take advantage of it.
This guy's got a lot of ability. I think the key is regulating his minutes. There's a little bit of a fall off in his play when he gets fatigued, Courtney, and it's not unusual for a big guy, but he's got the perfect complement. Last year it was Drake Barr, and now this year it's Isaiah Brock. And this guy is a pretty good free throw shooter too.
Yep. Almost like you see a ton now in the NFL with having, multiple running backs, you know what I mean? It's nice to kind of have a little bit of a two-headed monster approach with the 2 bigs, Greason and Brock.
That ball nearly thrown away. That's a very hard triple try.
Yeah, that's a heat check right there.
Yeah. Your coach might let you get away with one of those, but in the next one, you're coming out of the ball game.
Yep.
Turnover here, Ferris on the move. Great return work done by Grand Valley's Shaquan MacArthur, who chased back down the wing and able to flick that one into the pom-pom girls.
Yep, good hustle right there.
Thrower's going to get his first break. He played football right up to about the 15th of December with the Ferris team. New man on right now is Armani Tinsley. That's a good ball inside. It's a reach in by Hunter Hale.
Hey, you think about Thrower, I mean, basically fresh from playing in the national championship game. He's back and he's averaging 17 points a game already. It's like, what's he going to be doing when he warms up, you wonder? You know what I mean? He didn't waste any time getting started. And I'm sure Ferris was more than excited to have him back.
He looks like he could play about 8 hours of any sport a day. Not any body fat on that guy, but still, it's a different skill set. You're using different muscles, and you're taking a lot more abuse when you're playing football. He probably just needs to loosen up a little bit, recapture his feel for it. But when he took that first 3-pointer tonight, it looked to me like he was completely back.
Yep, right at home.
Second free throw. This one does go for Taylor Adway. So Ferris going to the bench early. Let's see how Grand Valley handles this pressure. No problem this time. MacArthur, though, has got to get out of the corner. Took steps. Good call.
He caught that ball in a very tough position, just over half court. Obviously, he can't go backwards at all. Just kind of worked his way down that sideline, and the trap just continued to collapse on him. So Grand Valley's definitely going to have to make sure that they're, mindful of, this pressure that Ferris is willing to apply.
Well, that's a tough call against Greason there. He's doing everything right in my mind. He's trying to take the wide way around. There wasn't really much contact, but they're going to nail him for the foul.
That's one of those ones I just remember coaches always asking our bigs, like, why even tap that ball? You know what I mean? Like, let's say the big does end up catching the ball way out there, free throw line extended. What's he really even about to do,
Yeah, once you pushed him out to about the 10, 12-foot mark, then your job is done, right?
Yeah.
Just wait for him to come to you. Nice ball inside. The shot missed. Hale couldn't control. Got a little bit of a shove, I thought, from Mason Pline, who's in there right now. Young man from Fowler, Michigan, a freshman. 32 is his number. Adway. D'Angelo Hughes on the ball right now. He's hooked up with Hunter Hale. And that's going to be an offensive foul that goes against D'Angelo Hughes, who just snuck out a little bit there on that handoff. You just got to keep your body still there and let somebody bang into you. Andy Bronkema doesn't like it, and D'Angelo Hughes hates it because he's got to go out now after his second foul in the first 4.5. Let's see if Ferguson can take control of the ball here for Grand Valley. Hale's got it. No, bad play, but he got it back. Grand Valley, MacArthur looking to go. Adjust and hit a beautiful shot.
Tough finish right there. Very nice.
Kind of shot that one on the way down. Thrower's back in as well for Ferris. Tinsley. Adway at the top. Got to be careful if you're Greason. Greason, keep your hands up. Well done. Ball knocked to the back court. Thrower. Good double by Grand Valley. They got people on the move. Oh, Thrower picked the pocket. I mean, how about Jake Van Tubergen saving the day for the Lakers? And that brings us to our first timeout. Good ball game so far. Ferris 12, Grand Valley 10 on ESPN 3.
Phenomenon at Grand Valley State University that is making a lasting impact on our students, the state of Michigan, and beyond. It's called the Laker Effect. Lakers understand that one person can make a significant impact. Together, we know we can do even more. That's the Laker Effect.
Catch us if you can, catch us if you can.
For those restless spirits, and for those who thirst for more, Coors Light is colder, cleaner, and crisper. To refresh you for what's next, Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
You've got dreams. Big dreams. Small dreams. Even some weird dreams. But wherever your dreams take you, remember, we've got cars. Fast cars. Big cars. Sensible cars. All kinds of cars. You've got a phone, we've got a website. Swipe your way around more than 1,500 used cars and find your next dream machine. Visit foxmotors.com.
14-16 until halftime here in Allendale, Michigan. Tom Cleary along with Courtney James, the Grand Valley standout of a few years past. Enjoying the action as Grand Valley takes on Ferris State, the national champions. You know what they say, Courtney? You're the national champion until you're not, you know. I think Ferris is still in with a shout this year, even though their record isn't good so far. They've got Thrower back, and they're going to pick it up. Jake Van Tubergen with a nice steal and a nice move, and a great finish. How about that? And a player down for Ferris, and it was the big guy that took it. I think it's Klein who got it in the forehead. I wonder if maybe the trail arm of Van Tubergen got him on that little spin dribble. See if we get another look at this one or not. Jake is coming down the lane. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the contact that occurred when he bumped into Justin
I think
Greason.
it was Greason's knee as he was coming across trying to get into position for a potential rebound. Cameron didn't end up catching it, but he didn't look like he took a shot to the head there at all until the very end, and it had to have been Greason's knee then.
Yeah, got it from behind too, and we missed it because we were fixated on the move by Jake Van Tubergen that has tied this ball game at a dozen each. Grand Valley's got Stephen Lloyd in, wearing number 3 for the first time. He's in the backcourt with Hale. Van Tubergen's out there. Shaquan MacArthur and Justin Greason. Andy Bronkema. It's like a revolving door over on that bench. He's got people in and out before he even knew they were there. Thrower. Marquise Mayfield pushing off a little bit, then lost it. Shot clock violation.
Great defensive stance right there by the Lakers. I mean, I like the token pressure that they're giving Ferris. You know, just kind of it's Ferris getting into their offense at 22 seconds as opposed to 25. It may seem like it's not a big deal, but if you're getting into your offense at that point in time and you swing it a few times, before you know it, that shot clock, starts running down, especially with it being, 30 seconds. It's 35 back when I played.
Boy, this is what Ferris does well. Now, if you're Grand Valley, to my way of thinking, you got to go to the basket here and make them pay for that pressure. A nice, soft, little feathery 9-footer from Hunter Hale gives Grand Valley its first lead of the ball game. This is Carl Bowe who's in now for Ferris. Guy who's played in every game this year off the bench, wearing number 4. Shaquan MacArthur tried to flip him from behind, but Carl Bowe was smart. That tells you a little bit about his basketball IQ. He turned the corner, and first thing he was thinking about getting that ball back in front of him instead of hanging it out on the side there. A little trick that good lead guard will know. Once he gets around, don't think your job is done. You got to cover it up after that, right?
You're exactly
Courtney?
right.
Thrower's been a little bit quiet lately. Marquise Mayfield had 6, but he went out with 2 fouls. There's Williams back in there. Shot clock at 10. Isaiah Brock on for the Lakers. Well, Grand Valley D'ing up really well right now. Thrower's going to try to give him every move he's got. Forces a tough shot, not a good one. Grand Valley not going to get this ball. It's going to be Williams for 3. And this is a foul on the floor. And that is mighty fine work done inside there by the big man who had just snuck into the ball game, Cole Walker. He kept it alive twice, and they pinned his arm the second time, and the referees caught it.
Yeah, Walker, he's physical and active down there. He's going to mix it up, fight for rebounds, fight for his position. I saw him and Brock already exchanging, a few big guy pleasantries with one another.
This guy played a fair amount last year, too. He's not a newcomer. He is a substitute, but playing pretty much a similar role to what he had last year. Ben Lubitz is on for Grand Valley, number 25 in the blue and white. Grand Valley playing kind of a passive zone here. Thrower, Williams, step back, nice. Greg Williams averaging 12 a game coming into this one. Be careful there, Van Tubergen.
Ooh,
that's
a
a travel. Yeah.
Yep. He knew where he wanted to go. Just forgot to put it on the deck before he took off. And I'm telling you, that's what some of that pressure will do. It just speeds up, everything. So Grand Valley has to make sure that they stay, composed and disciplined in their fundamentals as they're attacking that the Ferris pressure.
Tied at 14 here with a little over 12 minutes to go until halftime. Grand Valley and Ferris. Boy, this one on paper looked very, very even. Both these teams have some real strengths. They've maybe got a couple of weaknesses, but they play with competitive flair. Thrower jumps in, hits the shot. They're going to wave it off. Foul occurred before the shot attempt by Deshaun Thrower. The ball was touched a little bit. Good play by Walker to secure it. Clock at 15. Angelo Hughes in there right now in the backcourt. This is Mayfield. And that's a travel there too. I like a call. I don't think you should be able to, and it's happened more and more in basketball. You jab step in one direction and you make the move with that other foot, Courtney. You're unguardable if they let you get away with that.
Yeah, Manu Ginobili kind of changed the game a little bit with that Euro step, and it's funny to see how much it's being adapted now throughout the game. It was a play that was almost non-existent, it seemed, when I was playing, and now you've got, middle school kids pulling off a Euro step. So it's just kind of the way the game has evolved. But what Harden does sometimes is, he's going like the entire world step as opposed to a particular country.
Jake Van Tubergen couldn't quite get himself under control, threw it away, trying to lob it up to Brock. Turnover sends it back to Ferris, and this is Hughes out there with Hunter Hale. Williams had it slapped off his foot, got it back. Thrower chased by Grand Valley's Jeremiah Ferguson. Big man, nice twist, got it up over Brock. Nice move by Cole Walker.
Yeah, very nice.
Averages about 8.5 points a game. Ferguson got bumped there, and that's either Hughes or Greg Williams.
You know, Ferris just historically has always been a very high-pressure defensive basketball team. I really would like to see Grand Valley just handle that pressure a little cleaner. You know what I mean? Even some of the times they've gotten the ball into the front court and it hasn't been a turnover. It's still been a little, you know.
You're going a little faster than you should be.
Yep, for sure. So it's anxious to see these guys kind of settle in a little bit.
Well, with the shot clock, you know, I talked to Rick Wesley a couple of weeks ago, and he had a great observation. He said, you know, in the years that he's been in coaching, that has changed. The shot clock has come in. He goes, you like it because you don't want the game to be played in a flat-out stall situation. He said, but you do get in a lot of games in basketball where it seems like every possession is an end-of-game possession because the clock is running down. You've got to do something spectacular and take a chance you don't really want to take. And that's the first shot of the ball game for Jeremiah Ferguson, and he shows he's got some range. But right back at the other end, his three won't go. Ferris with a rebound, a miss. Boy, they threw it back out to Thrower for three, and that's why. Ferris recaptures the lead at 19-17. Good ball ahead here. That was Kindred Williams. And Grand Valley again going a little out of control. That's nice by Ferguson. Nice dump. Brock couldn't finish it. Ben Lubitz got fouled on the rebound.
Nice dump off right there, though. You'd hope to see Brock finish that one, but you know, he kind of fumbled the catch, and he still was able to control it and gather it. And
well, your best chance of making that shot is if you go up and dunk it. It's not a play that he's doing to be fancy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you miss a breakaway dunk because you're doing something silly, that's one thing, but get as close as you can and knock it down. And Ben Lubitz is in the book. 19-18 now, Ferris. This one just has the look of a game. It's going to be taut and tight the entire way.
I wouldn't expect it any other way. Both these teams are very talented. This rivalry in itself is, you know, amongst the 100 and some odd games it's been, has been pretty tight. Ferris has, you know, kind of had its way with Grand Valley the last few years, but I know the Lakers will be trying to turn the tide on that.
Well, you talk about how tight this league is. Grand Valley last year was 500 in the regular season, 14-14. They lost 2 games to Ferris by 6 and 11 points. Ferris is a national champion. What are they, 38-1, I think?
Yep.
So there's not a huge gap. And there's a great defensive stand by Zach West and the Lakers. Ferguson, nice ball ahead. Oh, my goodness. Boy, it went wrong twice for Kindred Williams. Couldn't decide whether to lay it in or dunk it.
You're exactly right. He kind of got caught in between, and before you know it, he put it off the back iron.
Maybe have a chance to make up here. Grand Valley with Demetrius Lake into the ball game for the first time, and he was fouled in the open court. And that'll take us to the break with 9:23 to go until halftime. Tied at 19 here between the Lakers and the Bulldogs on ESPN 3. How's it seem up here, Courtney? Different. Grand Valley has 19 points in this game. They have 7 different scorers. Hunter Hale's the only guy who's had multiple scores, if you will. He's got 6 points.
Yeah, very different than the women's game we saw with the Lakers prior, where they had primarily their starters playing the majority of the game. And so far, even Coach Bronkman and Coach Wesley both, they've got like a conveyor belt of different players getting some action so far this early start.
Demetrius Lake comes into this one averaging almost 5 points a game. That's his first point of the night. To give Grand Valley a 2-point lead now at 21-19. Lakers coming with some full court pressure. Hughes got a little bit rattled momentarily, gets it across the timeline. It's McFadden now going down on Jake Van Tubergen. How do you do? Little Pete Maravich action, only carried it though. And there's what we're talking about. It excites the crowd. He makes a great play and then made a great behind the back dribble. But you got to know when it's enough, to get yourself under control and get your team into the set. And Jake had that kind of forward lean to him after that sensational shot block.
Yeah, it was a beautiful block. I mean, he's got great time. We've seen 2 blocks out of him already. He's got great timing, and he is just long.
Yeah, some elevation. Here's Deshaun Thrower going down on Brock. Brock says, not this time. Thrower had to change his shot and didn't do it well. Van Tubergen on the floor, they say. Good run out that time by the Lakers. They had numbers. That was a little bit of a macho battle at the other end with Deshaun Thrower trying to take it up over the top of Brock, and you kind of sense that it wasn't really the shot that he was looking for when he started down the lane, and that keyed the Grand Valley run out. So here's Van Tubergen, who was a real bright light for Grand Valley last year. Lakers doing pretty well from the stripe right now. They lead it by 3. Four points now for Jake, and the lead is 4 for the home side. Deshaun Thrower now going against Jeremiah Ferguson. And a little bit of a shove there.
Yep, just a little bit of a, kind of like a chicken wing. He was trying to stick out and get a little bit of separation. Again, it's one of those ones where sometimes possibly you can get away with it. But I feel as if these refs have blown the whistle, a few times early. They're probably trying to set a tone, letting these players know what it is they can kind of get away with and
this game
what they're going to end up calling.
It's going to get crazy toward the end. There's another near steal by Ferris. Good play, though, by Ferguson to get it back. Shot from the corner. Oh, Creason over the top again. He thought he was going straight up in the air. I don't think he's got a lot of argument there. Some balls, even if you can get to them, you're probably better off leaving for the next time. Let's see it again. Here's the miss on the shot. Boy, you don't see very much there.
You really don't, but it is one of those ones that refs just call that a foul. You know what I mean? Even if you just jump over and grab the ball, they still have a tendency to call it a foul. So you have to take that into account going for those offensive rebounds.
Free throw goes here for McFadden, who comes in averaging almost 11 points a game. This is a team that's got 7 guys who average between 8 and 17 points on the season. That's the kind of balance they have. And Ferris, the last several years, been the kind of team that any one of their first 8 or 10 could have a game where they get 25, and you wouldn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
They're that balanced.
I think it's really a nice testament to Coach Bronkema as well, just with the buy-in he's gotten from these guys, where they have so much talent out there. The scoring is so much, so balanced, and yet these guys are still out here playing as a nice unit.
How about Jake Van Tubergen? He's just going out of the building every single time to corral that one.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Ferguson thought he had been fouled at the other end. Ferris had numbers, and they pressed the issue, but Van Tubergen is waiting to the optimum moment to go for balls that are up around the rim. New man on for Ferris. That's a nice delivery there. Block shot by Brock. Who are they going to call this on?
I think Van Tubergen maybe on a little reach in.
Yeah, Brock.
He's not like it.
Yeah, it is Jake who picks up the foul. It was Peterson who made the nice pass inside. Brock took care of that, but then the ball came right back to Michael Peterson. Guy averages 3 points a game, but he is a young guy that is carving out some playing time. Young man from Rockford, just north of Grand Rapids. Two-point ball game now with 8:02 to go here in the first half. Ferris is going to continue with the pressure. You see Zach West right away get himself out from underneath the basket, which is a key. Ferguson on the bounce. Good matchup here for Grand Valley. West stepping into one from three-point range is Ferguson. That's his second ball from beyond the line. The Lakers by 4. And a little touch by Hunter Hale there. Well, you like to see in a point guard, I know you appreciate this, Courtney, a guy who can score with an economy of motion and shots and everything else. Just taking what's there and what's obvious rather than forcing the issue. If you do it and you're good at it, it's amazing how many times as you get on to the end of the game, you still see the points pile up for the guy who's had the ball most of the time.
For sure. I mean, Ferguson plays with a nice flow to his game. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like he's out there forcing or rushing anything. And, you know, that's really what you want out of your point guard, especially when you have a lot of talent around you, you know.
He's thinking about it again here, trying to go. Found some space. Just fell out of that shot a little bit. Wanted to go maybe straight up and didn't quite get enough on it. Quickly at the other end, Williams. Here's the man Peterson. Heaved one up, playing for the foul, didn't get it. Boy, and Zach West, who used to be a stationary shooter here at Grand Valley, has become such a good, tough inside player. Van Tubergen couldn't get anything out of that attempt. Peterson. Beautiful. Everybody wants to block a shot. If you're the guy with the ball, just hang on and get it to somebody else, as Peterson did that time to Cole Walker.
Yeah, that was a very nice dump off. I mean, you take Van Tubergen and Brock down there, who are both great shot blockers. He just drew the defense and dumped it.
Now that is a bit of a surprise right there. Cole Walker from way out beyond the line to give Ferris the lead. Van Tubergen.
Cole's having a nice first half so far. I think that's 8 points for him. He scored on the inside a little bit.
And then he went for three. Now Brock had to make a better effort for that ball. 3-on-1. Grand Valley's got to avoid the three-point play. And small consolation, they will, but they give up an easy bucket. Rick Wesley, I think, is thinking about a timeout. He went from 4 up to 3 down in no time at all, and there's the TO. With 6:02 to go, Grand Valley now trailing Ferris 29-26. Interesting to see, you know, the pieces that are out there right now for Ferris. I don't think before the game you would have said these are the 5 guys that are the likeliest ones to give us a run when we're behind in a ball game. But they found a little bit of magic in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and they've brought their team back.
Well, you talked about just how many different weapons they have that can score the ball for them. I mean, they even as a team, I mean, they average over 90 points a game. So it's probably tough to know exactly. I mean, obviously you want to prepare for thrower, but in terms of some of these other complementary pieces, it's got to be tough to know exactly which one is going to be on their A game that day. So Grand Valley needs to prepare for, you know, everyone.
Hunter Hale last year in 2 games against Ferris. I think he had something on the order of 7 points in one and 22 in the other, and that just shows you how it can go. I mean, one day the shot's going, one day it's not. One day the guy defending you is a little bit better, and it can be a big disparity. Nice delivery there by Ferguson. Boy, it's got to be handled a little bit better by Kindred Williams, who threw it away. Nice ball on the baseline. Looked like a travel to me. They're going to call a foul inside. Courtney, I'll let you decipher that one from Jalen McFadden. Let's see when he gets it right here. 1, 2. Oh, I get a bounce there, which I couldn't really see the first time, right? When he went down to the baseline. Yeah, he was bent over and he got just a quick tap, and I was thinking that he had double jump stop there, but that wasn't the case at all. From our vantage point, we were completely blocked. And the run continues for Ferris. 30-26 now. Stephen Lloyd is back in. Shaquan MacArthur. Haven't really seen Brock get loose at the offensive end for Grand Valley, and he's had a couple of mishandles, so it's the return of Greason for the Lakers. Ferris misses. Who's going to get to this one? It's going to be Grand Valley. Better decision making that time by Stephen Lloyd with Hunter Hale. Good matchup here for Grand Valley. I think Hale can maybe do some work against this guy, but nice recovery by Williams. They're going to call a block and a bucket. How about that? The basket will go for D'Angelo Hughes. Let's see.
Like Lloyd might have been moving still a little bit. He kind of slid over into that one.
Yeah, he did. He got his feet down, though.
Yeah. That's the thing, like we were talking about with that Euro step, it's so hard for a defender to really plant their feet and expect to take a charge, because so easily now these guys just step right around you, you know what I mean, with that move. So I think Lloyd might have been trying to slide a little bit on that one, and unfortunately call didn't go in his favor.
Grand Valley's got to do something with this possession right now. They have run dry here. Lakers trying to make a move to the bucket with Shaquan MacArthur. By my counting, it's 11 straight points, and that's going to be a push-off indeed on Zach West. 11-point run for Ferris after trailing 26-22. And now Grand Valley has to find a way to slice into this margin before the break. Throwers back on to run the attack. Williams, Carl Bowe on the ball. Adway's in there right now. That's going to be, I think, ooh, I don't know about that. Wesley not complaining, so he probably got a good look at it. Looked like it came up on Bowe and maybe went off his chest out of bounds. Andy Bronkema is making a move here with Marquise Mayfield. Good rebounder, even though he plays primarily in the backcourt, and a decent score, almost 12 a game. Thrower against Lloyd. Now Hale comes over. Well, Thrower threw one in from a long way out. 36-26, and now a grab on the inbounds play by Williams.
It's a tough shot right there out of Thrower, but at the same time, he has the capability of making that shot, so you're going to have to guard him a little bit out beyond that three-point line.
We're going to take a timeout right now. It's Ferris by 10 all of a sudden. 4:46 to go until halftime here in Allendale, Michigan.
It's time to be.
We're the Davises. We love our family time together. We always find a way to make it fun, which is why we love Big B so much. We have our favorite coffee drinks, and the kids, their hot chocolate with whipped cream. The smiles are never ending, which is why I think we always feel at home here.
It's time to be.
Share the love with fall favorites from Big B Coffee, like a caramel apple cider, hot, iced, or frozen. Hurry in today.
It's time to be.
If you have recently suffered an injury or had surgery, let the experts at NovaCare Rehabilitation get you back to an active lifestyle. Our comprehensive programs deliver the highest level of physical therapy, hand therapy, sports medicine, and work health rehabilitation. Our highly skilled therapists develop individualized treatment plans to exceed your expectations. So, don't live in pain. To request an appointment today, visit NovaCare.com. NovaCare, the power of physical therapy.
For a great car buying experience, there's only one place to go: Ziegler Granville Chrysler. Great selection, over 250 new cars, trucks, and SUVs. 200s, 300s, Darts, Caravans, Rams, Wranglers. Great savings. Your lowest prices and payments right up front without the hassle or haggling. Great people, a friendly professional staff committed to your complete satisfaction, and a great location too. Convenient to anywhere on Parkway Place Southwest in Granville. Ziegler Chrysler Granville for a great experience.
Well, I'm not sure what this is all about, except it wouldn't be a college basketball game if we didn't have one needless replay here. The officials looking at something involving the shot that was made by Thrower. It looked to me, Courtney James, like he came back and kind of got up into the grill a little bit of Hunter Hale, and that's what they were examining. Now they want to look at it some more and make a determination of whether or not, I guess it's a correctable situation. But if Thrower said something, he was at least discreet about it. He wasn't gesturing or doing anything like that. And I don't know that we're going to see it all the way through. He's going to go out of the screen. Makes the three-point shot right here. And then we see the camera come back out. And he's definitely over on Hale. To me, if that's enough to call something, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I'm not sure entirely what they're looking at, but yeah, that should just be a play on. I mean, if they're looking at him potentially saying something. We'll see here, though.
I'm just not sure who would be the. Well,
yeah, it looks like his mouth wasn't even really moving, so that can't be what they're looking at.
Well, never say never. Maybe we'll see it again right at the end of that, or at the beginning of that replay. I mean, I don't know. There's talking that's going on all the time out there. It's not necessarily taunting. It's just kind of the running conversation that sometimes occurs. Now, it looks to me like Thrower is going over to the bench. Is he going to? No, he's just going over to the huddle. Andy Bronkema is trying to get an explanation. This can't be good for Ferris State. I mean, we've been dawdling over this for 3 minutes or so, and it'd be fairly disappointing now if they just said, never mind. On the other hand, from what we saw, and I watched the play as it happened, and I thought that Thrower had every right to go over there and pick up Hunter Hale, who's headed back up the court, right?
Yep.
He can close him down right away.
Yep.
Maybe it's just an official warning.
Yeah, we'll see what it is here.
Well, now we're going back to the play that occurred on the inbounds, which is a foul, producing a couple of shots for Stephen Lloyd. So it's a mystery to us as to what was going on there. I think they were looking for some wrongdoing by Deshaun Thrower, but that would have been very harsh. Grand Valley cannot throw it in the basket in any way, shape, or form. They've given up the last 14 points in this game to fall dangerously behind against a team that just seems to have had their number the last couple of years. Finally, free throw for Stephen Lloyd makes it a 9-point ball game. And the Lakers suddenly with a lot of work to do. Peterson, Thrower, finally missed a three, but would you know it? Ferris gets it back. They go inside. Justin Greason, good defending and a good rebound. See if Hunter Hale can shake loose for one of his patented long balls. Backdoor flip there. Oh, Hunter Hale went out to out. He was not in a position to receive that pass. And I kind of thought this move would be coming pretty soon with Ferguson checking back in. Grand Valley needs somebody, Courtney, who can steady the ship a little bit.
They really do that. Their offense, seems to be a little stagnant already, but it definitely runs a lot smoother when Ferguson is on the court.
Peterson lost it momentarily, trying to get it back. Shot clock at 12 now. Ferguson took a glance toward the clock. Thrower, tough shot from the elbow. Boy, maybe you ought to just let him shoot, because when it's contested, he's been knocking them down.
Yep.
38-27.
That's good defense there. I mean, it's just a really good offensive player making a tough shot.
And Ferguson tried to get it to Greason, who wasn't ready to receive it, and then Ferguson fouled going after it.
All the momentum right now really seems to be on Ferris. Even if you're just looking at body language, they're talking to each other more. They seem to be more engaged, and Grand Valley definitely seems as if they're in a funk right now.
Well, Grand Valley has done a fair amount of damage getting to the rim and not scoring a lot of goals in this game, but making some free throws. That's a bad miss by Peterson. The Lakers have done a pretty good job at the free throw line. They've made 13 free throws in this game, which means that only leaves 14 points scored on goals, which is not a lot for 17 minutes into the contest. Free throw makes it 39-27. Hale to Van Tubergen. Let's see if Grand Valley can punish him. Nice move to the bucket there by Shaquan MacArthur. Got a little shoulder bump, did the Laker, but got away with it. Walker now trying to come up on the outside. That ball is wide for three and saved back in play after the egregious miss by Jalen McFadden. 10 on the shot clock, just a tick over 3 left in the first half. Hughes, not what they were looking for there, and Grand Valley will collect. Ahead it comes, a breakout for the Lakers. Nice bucket by Demetrius Lake, and now just about a steal by Lake. That would have gotten the home side going a little bit. Lakers within 8 now, and
nice to see him get an easy bucket in transition. We'll see if they can start to build a little bit on being able to get 2 shots, go through the basket, you know what I mean, on the offensive end in transition.
Yeah, need to stop at some point here, does Grand Valley. That's Peterson for 3 from the dead corner. And Grand Valley will go on the breakout. Hale's going to step through. Got it back. Nice move to the bucket again by Shaquan MacArthur. But Grand Valley doesn't want to be trading all night with his team from Ferris. Down 9 now with just under 2 minutes to go in the first half. It's an awfully tough call right there against Demetrius Lake. He's shoving and pushing with a much taller Jalen McFadden, and just kind of a ticky-tack foul call there. A long way from the basket.
Definitely, too. And I mean, Ferris is in the double bonus right here as well, so that one hurts if he's able to capitalize. Makes the first.
Ferris scored 14 in a row after Grand Valley led 26-22. And now the Lakers have a long, hard climb back against a team that's not going to give up any easy buckets at the other end. They're going to fight you tooth and nail on every possession. Thrower comes back in. Greg Williams goes out. Hughes goes out, and Armani Tinsley is back in. Hunter Hale took steps.
I'd like to see Hunter start to get something going offensively. He seems to be thus far just a little bit out of this game. You know what I mean? He's the Lakers' leading scorer at 16 points per contest. You know, it'd be nice to be able to see him get a good look and kind of get himself going.
He's got 6 in the game, 4 from the free throw line. Thrower against Van Tubergen. Van Tubergen has been an absolute beast as a rim protector in this ball game. Seems funny saying that, but he's blocked clean at least 3 shots in this game, and he's contested probably 3 or 4 more. Boy,
yeah.
that, you know, interesting there. Thrower basically went right into his chest, and he wants a foul call there, but did not receive it. And here's Jake shooting 2. Well, Lakers back within 10. They would just like a little flourish here at the end of the first half to make their predicament a little bit more palatable. The thrower looking like he wants to go right at everybody right now. Tinsley looked like that was personal that time against Demetrius Lake. Didn't work out too well. Van Tubergen's got to be careful here. Oh!
Tough finish right there out of Jake. I love watching him play. You know what I mean? He's great on defense. He's one of those bigs as well that if he's able to get a nice defensive rebound, you trust him being able to pull the ball up the court and make the right decision. He did have that one turnover, but it was a little bit outside of what we usually see out of Jake. So nice play there, taking it coast to coast.
Van Toobergen did not start the ball game, but he's among the leader in minutes played here in the first half for Grand Valley. He has made a couple of field goals and 4 for 4 from the free throw line. And he is at the moment the leading Grand Valley scorer with 8. He's got 3 teammates that have 6 in this contest. And for Ferris, in terms of the scoring, it's been balanced. Thrower came out early, made 3 3-pointers. He's got 11. And D'Angelo Hughes with 9. 7-point ball game now with 1:06 remaining. Ferris is thinking they might be able to get 2 possessions to just 1 for Grand Valley. Thrower didn't want to go too quickly here, I don't think. He's got plenty of time. Well, too greedy that time was Deshaun Thrower. Went right into the jungle, and there were a million people there. Hunter Hale normally will take that shot with impunity. Long 3 try. Chased down in the corner by the Lakers. And now Grand Valley goes for the reset. Ferris is going to get the ball back, so Grand Valley has to make something of this possession if it can. Down to 17 on the clock, 23 in the period. Rick Wesley's trying to back up Greason to get a high pick for his shooter. Grand Valley, that shot an afterthought. Ferris, and they're going to call a foul inside underneath the basket on Shaquan MacArthur, who thought he had made a good triple team, but this is the worst case scenario now, Courtney, for Grand Valley, giving up a foul. And now shots coming at the other end, although the Lakers might get it back for one more heave here. Kind of like the spark that Demetrius Lake has brought for Grand Valley. Sophomore from Holland, Michigan, not too far away.
Well, he can score. I mean, I remember hearing about him when he was a high school player and talking to Coach Wesley about him. It's really just him becoming a little bit more acclimated to kind of playing on this level and playing within the confines of the system Wesley wants him to play within. So expect some big things out of him for sure as he starts to adjust and get more and more comfortable with his role on this team.
Free throw makes it an 8-point ball game. McFadden misses the second one. Good rebound there. Grand Valley, can they get one off? They've got a chance. It'll count if it goes. A little bit short. Great effort by Kindred Williams. But Ferris will go to the locker room with a lead. It's 45-37 for the Bulldogs at the half here on ESPN3.
Everybody knows Enterprise picks you up. But can they solve all my transportation needs? Spoiler alert, they can.
You can buy from Enterprise Car Sales.
Sold. Car sharing. That's alarmingly sensible.
We even rent exotics.
That's good, because sometimes Mama wants to drive like a mother. Big trucks are kind of my jam. You guys make me feel so special.
Like a princess?
Exactly. Rent, buy, or share. How can Enterprise pick you up today?
Are you planning a group event, a business trip, family reunion, club, or church outing? Would you rather take 20 cars or 1 motor coach? Less is more with Cardinal Buses. More relaxing, more comfortable, more economical, and more earth-friendly. Let Cardinal Buses show you how easy they can get you there. Get on board, sit back, and relax. Cardinal Buses will take care of tolls, traffic, and parking so you can just have fun. You do the math. 20 cars or 1 motor coach? Cardinal Buses. There's no better way to go.
Ruth, she had a recipe for everything. She experimented, scrutinized, put her recipes to the test. But once Ruth discovered perfection, she stopped experimenting. She took what people loved, what they craved, and she did it again and again. And for over 50 years, we've kept on doing it. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. This is how it's done.
Sometimes you just don't want to leave the house.
With Meijer Home Delivery, we come to you. So no matter what, you can Meijer any way you want.
Well, it's been everything we expected, except for a little lull in the middle part of the first half when Grand Valley got outscored 14-0 by the Bulldogs. This game has been dead even, but right now at the break, it's Ferris on top 45-37 as Andy Broncoma's national champions try to make it 6 straight wins on the trot here in the 2018-2019 college basketball season. Rick Wesley, though, pleased about the way his team has started the year. 9 wins out of 12 coming into this one tonight. Let's find out a little bit more about how things have gone through the first third of the season for Grand Valley. When Grand Valley finished out the 2018 calendar year, Rick Wesley was more than just a little pleased by his team's 9 victories and 12 starts. And his joy came more from just the wins his squad had piled up. The real gratification came from seeing the assimilation of so many new faces onto his roster. The Lakers have 8 new players this year, including 3 Division I transfers. And while Wesley is a coach who'd like to develop all his players over 4 full seasons in Allendale, this year's team reflects the new reality of college basketball.
You know, we try to keep an open mind, try to look at every situation on its merits, make sure it's a right fit, make sure a kid's leaving for the right reasons, and you know, so I think it's going to continue to be that way. It's part of our recruiting strategy now.
Last year's Lakers team battled to a 500 mark in the regular season in one of the toughest leagues in Division II in the country, as witnessed by Ferris State's national championship under Andy Bronkema. One of the Lakers' top players during that campaign was Central Michigan transfer Hunter Hale, who had 29 points in 2 losses to the Bulldogs. And while it stung losing those games, Hale says Grand Valley benefited from the lessons of those contests as well as Ferris's title run.
Just seeing how they played last year, how they played together, helps us to shape our game to be more like that type of team, to play together, have a really good depth, play a lot of people in a lot of different positions, and have our scoring spread out.
Last year's development of first-year forward Jake Van Tubergen was maybe the brightest spot for Wesley, whose team this year gets experience and leadership from 2 homegrown seniors, 6'10" Justin Greason and swingman Zach West, who's gone from being a perimeter shooter to a tough defender on a team that's much more physical this season.
Defense is going to be our strong suit this year. We got a lot of guys who can guard multiple positions, which is very important in the game of basketball, being able to switch and not have breakdowns. And then we got a lot of shot blockers as well.
I think we're more athletic than we've been, and I think we've got a chance to have an outstanding team. Unfortunately, we're in a tough league, so there's probably other people who feel the same way, but I like where we're at.
While Ferris should be among those competing for a GLIAC tourney title this year, they're playing without National Player of the Year Zach Hankins, who has moved on for his final season of college ball as a graduate transfer at Xavier of Ohio in Division I. In the meantime, the Lakers are hoping their new postman, Isaiah Brock, a transfer from Oakland University, can give the team and coach a boost as they try to emulate their rivals' championship success of a season ago. Well, Ferris started this game hot. Grand Valley kind of grew into it a little bit, Courtney James, and then at 26-22, Ferris lowered the boom, but here's Deshaun Thrower. First shot of the night, barely moved the net. That was a triple. Here's Zach West inside for the Lakers, powering home that bucket. A little bit later, nice bucket made there by Grand Valley's Shaquan MacArthur. But the team from Big Rapids getting a lot of balanced scoring. That's the guy who had a big first half, Cole Walker, hitting the little jump hook. Lakers answering from outside. Thrower again, though, hit his first 3 triples, 3 out of 4 from behind the line. And then Jake Van Tubergen with one of several blocks he had. We talked about Walker scoring inside. He scored outside. Van Tubergen knifes through and drops one down for Grand Valley. But the difference in this is that little stretch, Courtney, when Grand Valley just went a little bit cold and Ferris did a lot of things right, and it's going to be a tough road to climb back into this one for the home side. We're going to take a break right now and come back and talk some more. It's Ferris on top of Grand Valley at the half, 45-37 here on ESPN3. Ferris on top of Grand Valley here tonight in Allendale, Michigan, 45-37. And there are a couple of very interesting numbers as we're going to take a look right here. Tom Cleary with you along with Courtney James. And this one jumps right off the sheet. How can Ferris have attempted 44 field goals to only 20 to Grand Valley in this game? And we did the tally, something like 18 turnovers in the first half for the Lakers, which cost them a lot of scoring opportunities, Courtney.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, when we first saw this screen here with the stats, again, right away we started looking at field goals, and it's like, man, and they're not. The rebounding is about even, so it's okay. They're not getting a ton of offensive rebounds, but then we saw the turnovers, and that's where the issue lies.
Well, Ferris only had 7 turnovers. The three-point shooting a difference there. Ferris has made 7. Grand Valley shooting has been okay, but Hunter Hale really hasn't gotten loose at all. One thing that saved Grand Valley was the performance of players off the bench. Jake Van Tubergen was blocking shots like Bill Russell, and he added some offense as well, but Grand Valley just ran into a little spell there where it wasn't going all that good. We're going to take one more break, come back with the second half action here tonight from Allendale, Michigan. It's Grand Valley and Ferris tonight on ESPN3. few moments before the start of second half action tonight here on ESPN3. It's Grand Valley hosting Ferris State. The Lakers won the women's game 76-61 to go to 12-1 on the season. Cassidy Bench at 26 points, 10 rebounds for Grand Valley. Maddie Daly with 19 in that one. But Ferris has really done well in this game tonight. They've taken care of the ball much better than Grand Valley. Another thing that's noteworthy, Grand Valley's two big men inside, Isaiah Brock and Justin Greason, do not have a field goal in this game between them, and they've only taken one shot. Tom Cleary with you along with Courtney James. Now, we did a look through the record book, Courtney, before the game. Coming up Saturday, the 5th of January, it'll be the 13-year anniversary of something you did for the last time at Grand Valley. You want to take a guess at what it was?
Wow,
nothing bad now.
Okay.
Nothing you want to be ashamed about.
All right, good.
It was the last time you led Grand Valley in scoring in a game.
Was it? Okay.
It was up in the UP. I think it was against Lake State. You had 17. Grand Valley, if I'm not mistaken,
all right,
won the game. And I bet it seems like yesterday, right? You remember the good ones.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, even when you threw out the date, I knew exactly what you were talking about. No, that caught me completely off guard, but that's cool to know for sure.
Well, it doesn't seem like it was that long, right? But this part of life after basketball goes pretty quickly. And
it does. But you know what? You come back to games like this and you see, especially you stare across and you see Ferris in their red, and some of those same emotions start to flow. So hopefully these Lakers can turn the tide come this second half here.
Well, it's nice having you aboard here for our broadcasts during the course of the season, and we've got a lot more to go here. And Rick Wesley's still talking with Andy Bronkema and the official who was trying to sort out what was happening on that play after Thrower made the three-point shot. I have no idea what that was about, but it took about 5 minutes off our life that we'll never get back. Courtney, I know
yeah,
that.
Your guess is as good as mine, and I hope they're not still discussing it, but who knows at this point.
Hard to say. Grand Valley needs to defend well and take care of the ball. They need to maximize their opportunities. Hunter Hale. West. Hale again. Nearly traveled that time, did Hunter Hale. Zach West was shooting from out there at halftime. Van Tubergen couldn't quite get the second hand up on that rebound. And here comes Deshaun Thrower. From the top, triple tries an air ball.
It's always nice. I always liked kind of breaking the game into segments, and you'd have to think that the Lakers over these next 5 minutes want to say, let's see if we can win these next 5 minutes by 2 buckets. We win the next 5 minutes by 4 points. Get it to a 4-point game, just to kind of get some positive vibes kind of moving on their way, because it was a really sluggish close to that first half. Hopefully they can come out here with a little more intensity.
Well, they lost the crowd too. It was kind of a spirited night here as Hale goes to the basket on Thrower. Played for contact, didn't get it, and just threw it right out of bounds. Might have slipped a little bit, and his shoe came untied. I don't know if that could be it, but the officials are letting him get this one retied, and Jake Van Tubergen's going to help him back into position. Not the start Grand Valley wanted. To come up dry in their first 2 possessions. A miss and then an air ball. So Deshaun Thrower now for Ferris. He's guarded by Ferguson. Been a great battle between those two. Oh, Brock went up in the air, and Cole Walker took him to school after that. Raced right down inside and knocked down the bucket to make it a 10-point Ferris lead.
Walker hit that early 3, and I think Brock must have remembered it, because, he just glanced at the rim, and Brock was already off his feet, and he was on his way to laying a pretty uncontested bucket.
Hale with the miss. 3-point try, wide open, and that's down. Jalen McFadden makes it a 13-point ball game, and I don't know what Rick Wesley can really do. You can't start burning timeouts right now. You've got to get your team to just settle and play better.
I think Grand Valley on an average has given up about 10 threes. Oh, wow. About 10 threes a game, and I think Ferris has eclipsed that already, so they definitely need to get out and contest. But beautiful lob pass to Brock, who finished the rest.
Well, it's really the first time Brock has shown much interest at all in going to the basket at the offensive end. Maybe he sees his role a little bit differently.
Well, they've had so few possessions, I feel, in that first half that didn't end in a turnover. You know what I mean? It was tough to really try to get anyone going.
Hunter Hale took that one right out of the hands of Greg Williams, and here goes Hale again, flying down, telegraphed his intentions, and Walker sent it back on him. That's a little tangle of feet there as Thrower misses from the elbow. That's better from Isaiah Brock. Ferguson, Jake Van Tubergen from the baseline. And Walker providing some great work off the bench here for Andy Bronkema tonight. Thrower now on Ferguson. Can't quite score it. That's out of bounds to Ferris. What do we have here? Referee stepping in. Are they going to change it? Yeah, they are. How about that? Wonder if this is a foul here. No, they're just coming over the top of his officiating brethren there. The ball goes back to Grand Valley, trailing by 11. I kind of like what Andy Bronkema is doing. So many coaches will just trot the starting five back out to start the second half. Walker was one of his best players. He's letting him stay. That's goaltending. A bucket for Ferguson.
Well, you know, with Ferris, I mean, with the type of defense that they play, you know, it's no wonder that they're giving minutes to so many different guys, because if you want to play that intense kind of pressing defense, you're going to need some bodies to be able to sustain that kind of energy. And that's why you see some of the numbers, you know, spread out so much amongst this team. They get a lot of minutes, but when guys are in there, they're playing great defense.
Well, that's a mess, and Van Tubergen comes up with the ball again, and Grand Valley lucky not to lose it. Ferguson, not the shot they were looking for there, and Grand Valley was out of control from the get-go on that possession. Grand Valley still defending hard, though, and somehow the Lakers come up with it. Now get your wits among you, boys, and just take it easy. That's probably not what anybody had in mind, but it will result in a couple for Jake Van Tubergen. Kind of looks like Ferris has a way of maybe baiting you into a game where you're playing a little bit out of control, because you have to play so hard to contest what they're doing.
You do, and you wonder if that's kind of starting to take a toll on the Lakers once they get into the front court and they get into their offense. You know what I mean? It's such a grind and a hustle just to get the ball across half court. Then you get there and you got to try to run your sets and whatnot. So, and it's only going to get tougher for them because, you know, they're only going to be more fatigued later on in the game. So they're really going to have to make sure that they, you know, can try to stay mentally and physically strong as this game comes to a close.
Courtney, I think you're right. It's hard to put the brakes on when you have to just kill yourself to get it over the timeline and then revert to something that's a little bit more conservative in terms of the approach. That shot rebounded by Van Tubergen, who's been a savior for the Laker front line tonight after the miss by Walker. Here goes Ferguson. What do they call this one on? Brock? Maybe on the screen?
They did. It was a little ticky-tacky. You know, he kind of sold it a little bit there. You could see Hughes did. But, yeah, Brock got him just a touch. But he was kind of sold the rest of it.
That happens so quickly. And sometimes the player with the ball is kind of responsible for that play. If he goes the wrong way or if he changes in mid-flight, the guy who's been trying to set a screen for him is suddenly attacking at the wrong angle on the defender he's trying to get a body in front of. And there goes Walker again. Smartly kicked that one away. West defending well, stuck a hand in once and twice. And how about Jake Van Tubergen again? Oh, that is way too risky a ball there. At a very sharp angle as well, Courtney.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you like the idea of Jake trying to push the ball on defensive rebounds, but as he starts to mature into that role, he definitely is going to have some conversations about with Coach Wesley about decision making, because that's a really tough pass for your big to make. And even though he hit it in the hands, you can say, oh, well, he should have caught it, but man, that angle and that speed on that ball,
yeah,
that's a tough catch for a big.
Yeah, that is a tough catch for anybody. That is not going to work out. Zach West with the rebound on the miss by D'Angelo Hughes. Ferris is opening the door. Crack here for Grand Valley. Can the Lakers get through it? Let's see if Grand Valley has the right combination of people out here. Van Tubergen Well, Greason got low bridge a little bit there, I think Rick Wesley believes. And Hunter Hale fouled in the open court. And that's going to take us to our break. 50-43, the Bulldogs. A lot more to come tonight here on ESPN3. Well, it's just been a crazy balanced attack for Ferris tonight. Deshaun Thrower with 11, McFadden with 10, Walker and Hughes each with 9. And for Grand Valley, not quite the same balance. And Tubergen with 10 in a non-starting role tonight. And Jeremiah Ferguson with 8. Grand Valley gives up an easy shot on the baseline there. That's a bucket for Marquise Mayfield to make it 52-43. Grand Valley's got Stephen Lloyd out there right now with Greason. Kindred Williams is back on. Where's Grand Valley go to for a shot in this set? This might be the guy. Tough ball goes that time for Kindred Williams. First bucket of the ball game. Here's Deshaun Thrower. He looks like he's ready to crank it again from distance. I think Ferris being a little more judicious, trying to get the ball inside. That's a tie-up right there. Possession to Ferris. Shaquan MacArthur back on. Zach West goes out. It's still doable for the Lakers, Courtney, at a 7-point ball game right now, but the Lakers need to get a little bit more of a foothold in this game. Maybe a couple of consecutive goals, couple stops to make it interesting during the last 10. Michael Peterson is back on. He delivers the inbounds pass. Working against Greason right now. Greason just has to hold his position. That was a terrible mistake there. Peterson just kind of gave it right back to the Lakers. Picked up his dribble down low, and that never helps out. Williams inside. MacArthur, tough shot. And Ferris surrounds it. Deep ball here for 3, right from the top. Mason Klein. He was the guy that went down hard, hit his head in the first half, but he's back now and delivers a big bucket for a 10-point lead. There's another bad turnover, and Grand Valley commits a foul immediately. Andy Bronkema arguing that that was an intentional foul there to prevent a basket from being scored, which it was, but I don't think he's going to get the call he's looking for.
You know, I was wondering how long it was maybe going to take Rick to get Ferguson back in the game, but the flow just seems to, just go a little bit smoother when Ferguson is out there. And sure enough, just as I kind of glanced over, he was grabbing him by the jersey and getting him back in there. So hopefully he can start to bring a little bit more, continuity and fluidity to how the Lakers have been looking on offense.
Well, they've definitely played better when either Lake or Ferguson was in there doing the majority of the ball handling. Klein got a flat tire, but somehow got it to his man. That's a charge there. Got to be careful right now if you're D'Angelo Hughes. I don't think he has much argument on the call. And the last thing you want to do with a 10-point lead on the road is get a technical.
He's been pretty emotional right out of the gate, though. I mean, I remember it. 2 minutes into the game, he was upset on a couple calls. So, you know, this rivalry game, these guys are taking it serious. And, you know, he's wearing his emotions on his sleeve.
Good ball ahead here for Grand Valley. Oh, that would have been something. Talk about a statement. Shaquan MacArthur.
Was not expecting
that ball was touched. Now, you can see this is like Dr. J, 1977, and he should have made the shot. He was home free, and certainly Walker didn't really contest it that much. A little more concentration, and that one is on SportsCenter tonight.
Yeah.
That's a reach-in foul by Ferguson right there. Well, you knew he had one thing in mind, and I don't mind the play that he made, but I'd rather see him go strong with maybe two hands. He goes up here. When you get the ball in one hand like that, the little bit of any kind of jostling at all is going to probably knock you off your flight path.
It was a strong contest out of Walker. I mean, he was almost on the receiving end of a career highlight, but a strong contest, and he was able, it looks like, to maybe get a little hand on either the ball or maybe even a little bit of arm. But like you said, you go up with one. You know, doesn't take a whole lot to kind of throw you a little bit off kilt.
And he didn't miss it by much. He still very nearly got it down.
Yeah.
I think both of us fell backwards almost out of our seats when we saw that.
I didn't know MacArthur can get up like that. I mean, but then you kind of saw him gather and take that step, and I was like, oh my, he thinks he's about to dunk. And sure enough, he was almost right there.
Yeah, he declared his intentions rather early on that sequence. Grand Valley gets it back after the miss. Actually, Klein lost it out of bounds. This is the toughest play right here. I think this is when you should press. A turnover, so Ferguson can't move. It's not like after a made basket. He's locked there to his spot. Does well to get it to Van Tubergen. But I think the mistake the teams sometimes make is they don't attack. Here's Lubitz now. I think you got to get that ball and go right to the bucket in that 2-on-1 situation. Otherwise, they're never going to get out of that press. Lubitz to Justin Greason. Little lefty hook. Jake Van Tubergen the follow.
It's a nice move out of Justin right there. You know, he didn't get the finish on it, but still a nice move and great cleanup by Van Tubergen.
That's a nice strong move by Thrower there, and he made that basket on upper body strength alone. He's just able to absorb a hit. As you would imagine, he's a football player.
Yeah, Thrower is some kind of an athlete. You can tell just by looking at him.
That's the first real egregious error from Ferguson in a while. And it's going to cost Grand Valley at the other end as Van Tubergen comes up and fouls Jalen McFadden. Hale's going to come back in. Demetrius Lake, I'm guessing Ferguson knows his fate, at least for the moment, has been sealed. He's heading back to the bench. Boy, it was a 3-on-1 breakout for Grand Valley, and he tried to drill a ball through, and he could have done just about anything else, and it would have been a better option. Lead goes back to 11 now. McFadden with the free throw. McFadden's had some opportunities tonight, but he's only 2 of 11 from the field. Second leading scorer on his team, though, despite that. Thrower has 13 after that last bucket he made a couple of moments ago. All but 2 in the first half. Nice move here. There's Justin Greason. Very nice little delivery by MacArthur, who's really come into this game a little bit. He's played pretty well off the bench.
Yeah, that was a nice drop off to Greason. He saw the other defender came over and wisely just, you know, dumped it off to his teammate and got a high percentage shot.
Jake Van Tubergen just slow down. And he's not going to slow down, is he? And that's why. Hits the bucket, and he's got a chance to cut it to a 6-point ball game.
You know, the Lakers needed, you know, those and ones are so energizing, you know what I mean? You saw Lake right there, right in his face, the two guys from Holland. And it's plays like that can really be momentum shifters in games. And Grand Valley needed something like that, you know what I mean? Needed a little bit of energy, you know, to kind of bring them to some life these last 10 minutes.
Well, you get a break for Greason, who needs a blow. You get the big man Brock back into the ball game, and most importantly, you get to set your defense, although Van Toobergen couldn't finish off a three-point play. Van Toobergen's really had a fine effort in this one tonight. He's a surprising physical force. He looks a little bit frail out there, but he's got really fine basketball instincts. Shot clock at 8 here. Where are they going to go? I did not see that coming either. Missed it by 2 feet. It went in anyway for 3 from Marquise Mayfield. I had no idea what he was even attempting there, but it had a way of working out. Here's Lake from 8. Knocks it down for Grand Valley. How about that? A bank 3 from about 30 to break Grand Valley's momentum.
It's tough in these tight games, too. I mean, you've got a +1 opportunity with Van Toobergen, and he misses that. Then this guy comes down and banks in a 3. I mean, that's a 4-point swing right there.
That takes us to a break with 9:43 until this one ends. 61-53, Ferris tonight in Allendale. How well do you take care of the ball down the stretch? That's the key for both these teams. Ferris with 12 turnovers in the ball game, which is about a normal figure, I would suspect. Maybe a little higher than Andy Bronkema would like. Grand Valley, 22 turnovers in this game. That means on 10 possessions, they got nothing, not even an attempt. And if you take a look at it, Courtney James, even 40% efficiency there. You just get 4 goals, and you're talking about a tie ball game. And Grand Valley, it's physically, I think they've withstood the challenge, but they have not been as slick with the ball as the Bulldogs.
They haven't. Ferris is just winning the possessions battle ultimately. I mean, if they're getting more looks, you know, it's simple math at that point. More opportunities to score, you know, your greater your chances of being on top.
Greg Williams goes out. Armani Tinsley is back in. Williams got free for a shot and had it batted out of bounds. Hughes, are you kidding me? Tried the same thing.
That's got me thinking now if that other one was intentional on the bank. Because that was about the same spot and nearly the same outcome.
Yeah. Kind of a lost art shooting from range off the backboard. One of the last great ones, I think, is a guy from Michigan who certainly made his mark in basketball, Rudy Tomjanovich, who won championships as the coach of the Houston Rockets with Akeem Olajuwon, great player at the University of Michigan. I remember when I was a kid in Detroit, watched him play when he was back in high school, and he would shoot 25-footers from the wing off the glass. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, you don't see it a whole lot anymore in the game.
No. And you wonder why, with people going so hard to the rim, they don't do it. Hunter Hale, boy, that would have been big. Would have been the chance for potential three-point play. But, you know, you do see guys charging down the wing, and then they shoot a floater, and they're shooting it at the rim, and it's got to be absolutely dead solid perfect. Whereas if you shoot for the square, as you do on layups, as you learn to do when you're a kid, it usually works out pretty well. Let's see if Hunter Hale can get the Lakers to within a half dozen.
Yeah, I remember Tim Duncan would take advantage of the glass a good amount. He'd face up, but you don't even hardly see any face-ups in basketball anymore almost. So that's like the last one I think I remember in terms of really utilizing the glass.
And Hale, a little casual on that second attempt, and it's not there. Grand Valley can get no closer to 7, which they've done a couple times this half. Nice, great work by Demetrius Lake defensively, chasing. Grand Valley with Van Tubergen. Beautiful double team by Jake, and look out, Jake, you're way out of control.
He needed to give that one up a little bit sooner.
Well, Rick Wesley's hoping for a travel call there, but the problem is know when to say when. This is just a super play here, weak side double team. Now Jake Van Tubergen,
he had MacArthur on the wing open right there.
He got knocked off his stride a little bit, and he tried to go behind his back, and that's when it all fell apart. Can't fault the effort, but you need to be careful with that little Fabergé egg they call basketball. You got to be nice to it. Andy Bronkema is very unhappy with that, and that's going to bring a substitution. How about Brock on the block? Grand Valley has to capitalize. They will. Van Tubergen turned his ankle, though, coming down. He wants to be substituted. Or could that be a cramp, maybe?
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he, landed funny, or if when he planted, he maybe took off a little awkward. But you could definitely tell, he was bothered after he finished the play.
Lakers within 5 here. The timeout taken by Ferris State. Well, the good news for Grand Valley fans, Jake Van Tubergen has hustled right back to the bench. The way he's holding his foot up right now leads me to believe, Courtney, it might have been a cramp. He didn't seem to have any difficulty getting back. Here's Deshaun Thrower for Ferris, suddenly in a fight again. The Lakers laying it all on the line. Thrower had it tapped from behind, thought he was fouled. Grand Valley on the move. Ooh, not a great attempt there by MacArthur, and then he fouled on the miss. Looked like he never had his mind made up with what he wanted to do with that one, and kind of shot it as an afterthought.
Yep. I mean, you like the intensity. He's trying to make a play. He was great in creating the turnover, and kind of was penetrating. I think all of a sudden got to a point where it was like, okay, what am I about to do from here now? So hopefully the Lakers can get it back and make some better decisions on offense this next play here.
That one rattles and goes for Cole Walker, who's had a good game off the bench. But how about this line for Jake Van Tubergen? 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 block shots, and 3 steals. Man, that is a scholarship earning night of work, I would say, for that young guy. Grand Valley inbounds.
There's that pressure again.
Put Zach West in a bad position, and now he's hurt. West can't move. He's going to have to come out, and the shot goes for Walker. And just like that, 65-56.
Walker's having a great game. He can really play. I mean, we've seen him hit a 3. We've seen him put it on the floor and hit a pull-up. We've seen him score in the post. We've seen him play tough and rebound on the defensive end.
I'm not sure about Zach West. It looks fairly serious. I wonder if that was a knee-to-knee clash when he turned and ran into the Ferris player. You got to be a little bit more cautious than that, but Hunter Hale, I think, almost threw him into a bad situation there, the way a quarterback will with a receiver sometimes going across the middle. Zach West really just turned and ran right into a brick wall, and now the Lakers are back down 9 again. Demetrius Lake is out there right now. Hunter Hale, here's Lake again. The big man, Brock. Lake thought about it. Clock at 7. Hunter Hale's the best chance to make something happen here. Oh! I would call that making something happen. It's a 3 with a chance for more.
Nice step back right there out of Hale. It's funny on those types of and one plays. You get all excited, and then it's like, okay, I got to relax. I got to try to make this free throw now. You know what I mean? So hopefully he's able to calm himself down, have a smooth stroke at the free throw line, and take advantage of a 4-point play opportunity.
Not a real good play, though, by Deshaun Thrower. He's a shorter man contesting a 3 with the clock running down. I think he would like to rethink that course of action. And now Grand Valley can get it to within 5 again. 7 minutes to go in this one. Grand Valley has fought the good fight here in the second half. Can they make it all the way back? Thrower, nice dish, and a nice finish. That was Marquise Mayfield, and Thrower did it absolutely perfectly. Almost forgiven after fouling a 3-point shooter. Hale's got to be a little careful here.
You can tell they're really trying to force Hale to go right. I mean, they're doing a great job staying on top of that left hand.
That's a tough shot there by MacArthur. Who's going to get to this one? Thrower got there and ran right into one of the paying customers courtside. That's why I'm glad we're sitting up here. I have not had anybody land in our lap. We're in this position.
We're in a safe spot right here.
Pretty sure. Ferguson comes back in. Shaquan MacArthur goes out. Tubergen is back out, more importantly for Grand Valley. Here's Jeremiah on the ball with Thrower. Hunter Hale from the lane. Boy, just couldn't get the right amount on that one. Williams here. Brock is going to, it's not anywhere near goaltending. Andy Brockman trying to buy that one. And no. It's definitely a foul on Van Tubergen, but that was barely out of his hand when that was sent askew by Isaiah Brock. 2-shot foul though. And it's Marquise Mayfield who had the bucket just moments ago. Hunter Hale is one of those guys, not to denigrate his ball handling skills at all, but he's the kind of guy that needs to move without the ball to get to his position. A great catch and shoot guy. And
yeah, he needs a nice little setup at times, you know what I mean? Someone to be looking for him, or nice little penetrating pitch to him, and he just hasn't had many opportunities like that tonight.
8-point lead now is Mayfield, and he gets them both. Ferris is still coming with the pressure. Greason's in. Brock is going to go out. I think it's a good substitution there. I think Greason of the two is probably a little more skilled on the basketball at the offensive end. Look out. What a save that was by the little guy, but not a good choice on the behind the back pass. Now people are all over the place right now, and Rick Wesley just tries to avert his eyes after that little exchange.
You know, good intentions out of Lake there, but he really had his pick at which two players he wanted to dump it off to, and behind the back there was, you know, a little unnecessary.
How about Lake though, making up for it with the steal? Here comes Ferguson,
nice
and
finish.
one. And the guilty party that time is Colt Walker, who hasn't done much wrong tonight. Ferguson can make it a 6-point ball game.
The Grand Valley, they're just hanging around right there in striking range. You know, I don't think this will be a game that they look back on and say, man, we played great, but, you know, take it for what it is. All the challenges and struggles you've had, you're still potentially down just a couple buckets here, and you got 5.5 minutes to try to make something happen.
Well, when you talk to Rick Wesley before this game at any time, he has said a couple of different occasions that I've heard him talk that Grand Valley needed to be more physical this year to be able to compete physically. I don't think there's any question that the compete part of this equation is just about dead even. I think Ferris has just done a slightly better job of a much better job of holding on to the basketball.
Yeah.
For much of the night. Look at Lake. I love that defensive stance, wide base, not crossing his feet at all. That's a terrible, terrible shot attempt there, and how they can call a foul there, I'm shocked by it. D'Angelo Hughes was completely out of control and maybe lost the ball, and where is the foul here?
Yeah, he kind of got bailed out there. I mean, by the official, because he didn't seem as if he was under control or really even putting up. I don't know if that was a shot pass. I'm not sure.
Well, the ball went from his right hand to his left hand involuntarily, like he had just lost control of the ball. Well, Grand Valley had done everything right that time, but it just didn't work out. And now, with 5:10 remaining, it is D'Angelo Hughes, 14-point scorer on the year, and he's a guy that you would expect to knock down free throws in a situation like this one. Lake's going to go out. Ben Lubitz, who's got great range on the long ball, but hasn't really featured in that respect tonight. Hasn't really had very many catches outside the perimeter. Maybe a little bit of justice for Grand Valley there. They only lose 1 point in that situation. Ferguson now across the timeline. Greason trying to give him a pick. Ferguson up and under, can't quite get there. Nothing wrong with that either, it just didn't work. Thrower. That was a wild three, and it went right into the hands of Greg Williams. 9-point lead again. Ferguson got fouled by Williams, yes. That is indeed a foul. And that takes us to a break. 4:40 left in this one. Ferris on top, but not yet completely comfortable. More to come on ESPN 3. Well, the officials were over at the table again looking at that shiny television monitor, and I think they were trying to make a determination possibly on a foul. I saw one of the referees walk over and he was holding up fingers to indicate a foul on someone. That's my guess anyway. I'm going with that, Courtney. I think the question was who had committed the last foul against Grand Valley, and they're saying maybe not MacArthur 12, but 13 Hunter Hale. 2 free throws go for Jeremiah Ferguson. Grand Valley still in with a shout here, down by 7. Look out. Angelo Hughes almost dribbled that one straight out of bounds with nobody near him. He almost did it again. Out of bounds on the line, Andy Bronkema. I mean, I really don't know how you contest this call right here. The referee's looking at it from 6 inches away. And Andy Bronkema's down by the scorer's table. No, he was clearly out of bounds there with his left foot on the sideline.
Coach Bronkema's been working on him hard about all game. But it's funny, we talked about this in the last game. You know, when you're up a few buckets late, you know, and you're on offense, it kind of puts you in a position where you question some of the things you do traditionally offensively, and I think that's exactly what Ferris did down there. They've been, you know, aggressive and playing, you know, the style of play they like to play all game, and now, you know, 4 minutes left, we got a little lead. You start to tighten up a little bit, and Grand Valley's probably feeling the opposite. They're feeling loose and aggressive, so we'll see what happens here these next 4 minutes.
Shaquan MacArthur, here's Jeremiah Ferguson now. Grand Valley's best three-point option, if you're looking for that, would be Ben Lubitz, who's over on the other side by himself. And Ferguson's going to try it, and how about that? That is down for 3. It's a 4-point ball game with plenty of time.
Big shot right there out of Ferguson. Big shot.
Crowd starting to warm to it a little bit. Grand Valley just needs one stop here to make it a one-possession ball game. Deshaun Thrower going. Forces it up, draws the foul.
He is really tough going left. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
He does. He will go left a fair amount more than most guys.
He's strong already. He's great at separating and kind of shooting that little step back. You know, if you're Grand Valley, you probably, I mean, he's a tough cover either way, but your best bet is probably to try to get him to go to his right.
Hunter Hale is on for Ben Lubitz. Still not all is lost for Grand Valley. If they can get the ball back here, maybe knock down another long one, they can make it a one-score game. Ooh, it misses, but Grand Valley is not on that ball, and Ferris State is, but now it's Hunter Hale. How did they not get one down there? Here's Ferguson. Oh, bad throw there. It was kicked. Well, it's not a real great decision by Jeremiah that time. Kind of a little bit out of control.
He's
a lot of
probably
time on the shot clock.
He's kicking himself right now, too, probably because he didn't throw that ball high. I mean, Brock looked like, you know, he was able to potentially get a little bit of separation. And I even saw him right there kind of saying, hey, throw it up to catch a lob. So he probably wishes he could have that one back.
Let's see if Hale cuts loose here. Nice ball inside, and there's Brock.
It's a nice look right there out of Hale.
One-score ball game right now for the Lakers. 3:06 remaining. It's Thrower again, locked up with Shaquan MacArthur. Oh, the big man's going to take it into his hands, and how about that? Terrific bucket by Cole Walker for 3. Ferguson. MacArthur. Oh, we almost did a little double pivot there down in the, as it got to Van Tubergen. And he is just stripped by Cole Walker.
Yeah, there's Walker again.
And now it's out of bounds to Ferris. But again, Grand Valley just a little bit careless on the ball and a little bit too anxious trying to make something happen. And Van Tubergen put himself in a really tenuous spot there and turned it over. Well, and that was just a little bit lax in terms of defending. Shaquan MacArthur just wasn't ready to play when they blew the whistle, and Deshaun Thrower takes advantage, and now he's got a chance to make it a 9-point ball game.
That's a strong finish right there. I mean, I was just saying how, man, maybe try to get him to go right a little bit, and then that time he takes it right, takes the bump, and gets the and one. So nice play out of Thrower right there, and I think he caught Grand Valley defense sleeping a little bit.
Well, I would say this about Thrower. He doesn't shirk his responsibility as the floor leader for Ferris. He made it happen twice in tough situations, and now he's just about put this one beyond Grand Valley's reach. They were down 3 a moment ago, and then back-to-back 3-point scores, make it a 9-point ball game. Tough shot here. Brock, can he save it? He threw it into the backcourt. That's going to be over and back. You know, I know what Rick Wesley's saying. He's saying earlier in the game, a ball was tipped, I think, on a missed free throw all the way into the backcourt. It was a controlled tip, and in my mind, it could have easily been called over and back. It's not when a bunch of people are just flailing away at it, Courtney.
Yep, that's the difference between those two plays for sure. A tip is one thing, but that was a pretty controlled throw into the backcourt.
Thrower miss. Here goes the little man down. And that was overly ambitious. Missed by Lake. 2 minutes to go. Thrower, he's not going to go from there. Oh, Isaiah Brock. Right back at you. We're trying to load up Hunter Hale for a 3-point try. And Grand Valley, again, was a little bit loose on the handle there. And they're lucky to come away from that one with some free throws.
Yeah, they'll have some lessons, I know, from this game, you know, regardless of what the outcome is. The primary one, though, is really going to be ball control, you know.
Yeah, better decisions on the ball.
Ball control, decision-making. And if I know Rick, he's going to address that. One of the biggest takeaways I had from him was really how we would practice certain scenarios. We would practice, okay, you're down 7 with, 3 minutes left to go. What kind of decisions do you need to make in this instance? All right, even we were practicing the start of games as well because we had a tendency to come out a little sluggish. So I know he's going to address it, but it's definitely going to be an area of focus, just ball handling in general.
Well, I think that Grand Valley is going to be a little disappointed the way that they handled the ball against pressure, especially in that stretch in the first half when they went from 26-22 ahead to 36-26 behind, 14 consecutive points. But he's got to also be pleased with the compete level of his team tonight because they haven't backed away at all. They haven't always played their best, but they have played hard, and I think he's got some pieces going forward that he can count on. I think this young guy from Holland, Demetrius Lake, has played pretty well tonight. Van Tubergen, who's more of a known quantity, has played well, and I think that Ferguson will be better moving forward as well, too. Might have been just a game where one or two guys got a little excited. Didn't handle it quite right, but let's see if the Lakers can climb back in with 1:44 remaining in this one. It's an 8-point margin right now. Still a free throw to go for Hunter Hale. Grand Valley, though, really doesn't have a lot of time before they're going to have to start fouling and taking their chances in that regard. Boy, Hunter Hale, a good free thrower, cannot nurse it down. I wonder if Andy Bronkema thinks he's got enough points yet to win this game. That's going to be a foul on Lake. It was a worthy gamble, don't you think, Courtney, that he went for that one like that? He just didn't choose the right path.
You know, that's exactly what you have to do in these types of situations. You have to play aggressive and go for steals. Like you said, they are kind of in that area right now where it's like, okay, do we foul? What should we do? But either way, even if you do decide you want to foul, it's better to foul trying to make a play and get a steal than just to, foul meaninglessly.
This guy didn't look to me like he wants to give it up very easily. Deshaun Thrower hasn't been great from the floor tonight. He hit those 3 threes in the first half immediately, but since then he's only 3 out of 14 from the floor. But he is still the leading scorer among 4 double-figure scorers for his side. And he tacks on another one right there for 19 on the evening. 90 seconds, 10-point ball game. Still got to take care of it. And I like what Andy Bronkema is doing here. just soft passive pressure. You're not going to let them walk it down the field on you. Ferguson probably traveled. Van Tubergen. Nice score by Jake.
Jake looks elastic almost, weaving his way through the lane there, making a nice finish off the glass. We'll have to see if the Lakers, they got a trap right there. Be aggressive going for steals.
This looks to me like a guy you might want to foul. Not this guy. You just can't let it go down. Grand Valley's got to go out there and grab somebody. But it's the wrong guy, and the clock winding down, and Rick Wesley pretty unhappy with all 5 guys right there for not identifying the situation.
Well, I think what Rick is upset about is, they had some opportunities potentially to foul some of the poor free throw shooters. And then by the time it did get to thrower, the shot clock is running down. So It's like, okay, we lost the opportunity to foul. Let's at least maybe make them have to throw up a tough shot with the clock going down. And, they ended up fouling probably the last guy you want at the line right now.
Yeah. 20 now for Thrower. He's 5 out of 6 at the stripe. And again, credit to Andy Bronkema for knowing in this league you got to play through the finish line. He's not going to take that press off. Why? It's been effective, and doesn't really cost you much to do it. Your team's conditioned to doing it. That's how they play. Stay at it. Ferguson not close on the 3, and now the breakout here for Ferris. Ferguson hit the deck hard, committing that foul. I think he's okay. No, maybe not. Quite a grimace there as he gets back to his feet. For Ferguson, that's number 5. He's going to have to depart the scene. Had some very nice moments in this game, did Jeremiah Ferguson. He's going to finish as Grand Valley's 2nd leading scorer. He'll exit with 16. Van Tubergen with 18, Hunter Hill with 12. But you like the balance again of Ferris with what they have done. Thrower with 21. Cole Walker, great game with 16. And then after that, you've got D'Angelo Hughes with 13 in the contest. And Jalen McFadden checking in now with 11. A little over a half minute to go in this one. Ferris is going to get out of here with a much-needed victory. Lake for 3. Nice splash there for the young guy. You're going to have to go get somebody right away. And Grand Valley gets a steal. Smart play by Van Tubergen. How about that? Well, that was a fantastic heady decision by Van Tubergen. He's got a lane. He could have opted to go at Deshaun Thrower and maybe get an and 1, but instead he flipped it out for the triple try, and it worked out.
Yeah, great play by Van Tubergen, kicking it out there for Lake. And Lake's hit 2 in a row, you know what I mean? 6 points right there in about the same amount of seconds. So we'll see here if maybe they can get another turnover and get a quick 3.
Well, Grand Valley needs a steal, but if they don't get the steal right now, it's got to be an immediate foul.
For sure.
Even if you give up 2 free throws here, somebody splits the pair, you're down 2, and crazier things have happened. It's been an entertaining game tonight, and Courtney, it's been good having you back on campus. We look forward to working with you again a little bit later on in the season as your schedule permits, and hopefully they'll all be as exciting as this one and right down to the wire.
Yeah, it's been a great game. I mean, it started even just the entire day with the ladies. Ferris, battled, especially against, the likes of some of the talent on that Grand Valley ladies team. But they never gave up, and they've been fighting to the very end, and now we see Grand Valley kind of in a similar position where they're just trying to fight and claw as best they can to try to get a W. So, like you said, Grand Valley, they'll deny, look to be aggressive, and most likely end up trying to foul the right person they want to.
Good entry on the inbounds. The thrower's not giving this ball up. He's fouled in the backcourt by Lake. Thought Grand Valley probably should have gone for D'Angelo Hughes. You lost about 5 seconds in the process there. If they get it into somebody, you just got to plow into them. But That's the 4th foul against young Demetrius Lake, who's had a pretty nice second half here. He's certainly showing that he's one for the future.
I'm sure, I mean, it's nice for Lake. You know, you learn a lot in losses, probably more so than you do in wins. I mean, wins can kind of cover up a lot of your flaws, but the nice thing with this game, I feel, with Lake is that it'll boost his confidence, and it'll also improve Coach Wesley's trust in Lake as well down the stretch, which he you know, is definitely going to have to lean on him.
2 free throws there, and now it's just about the final number. Here goes Hunter Hale for 3, contested. Van Tubergen got another rebound. I think you might as well shoot it on up there, young man. He did, and that's how it's going to end. So Ferris State took command midway through the first half with a 14-0 run out on the Lakers. And even though Grand Valley threatened them, they could never quite get it all the way back to where they had a legitimate chance toward the end of this one. Jake Van Tubergen with 18, Jeremiah Ferguson 16, Hunter Hale with 12, and for Ferris, the attack led tonight by Deshaun Thrower with 21, Cole Walker with 16, and 13 for D'Angelo Hughes. So it's a split here. Grand Valley wins the women's game 76-61. Ferris comes back and wins the men's game for its 4th win of the season in conference play. So for Courtney James, I'm Tom Cleary saying so long from Allendale, Michigan, where the final score tonight is Ferris State 86, Grand Valley 79. I want to remind you, all games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live on the ESPN app, or to watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks. Log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.